Hi everyone, in this video I want to talk a little bit more about the signs in the heavens, and this is a sign that occurred on August 27th, and the reason why I think this particular sign was important is because this is the only time that I know of where all the elements of the Revelation 12 sign are actually visible, because all the other possible times for the Revelation 12 sign to be fulfilled would be once Virgo has gone below the horizon, or at least part of Virgo has gone below the horizon, and Leo's below the horizon, and so you can't see it. But this would be the only time that all the elements to the Revelation 12 sign are actually visible. And there was actually a very important sign that took place last year on the exact same date, on August 27th, and this was what was referred to as the Bethlehem star. It was the conjunction between Venus and Jupiter. So you can see that right here. You have Venus, but you also had Jupiter. You see Jupiter right there. Okay, so you had a conjunction, and this occurred at the exact same spot that the sun is going to be at on 9/11, which is the exact center of this angle over here, which, as I've mentioned before, I believe this represents the capstone to the pyramid, and right below the capstone, right in the center between Virgo and Leo, you had the Bethlehem star exactly 1 year ago on August 27th. And the number 27 is very important. Not only in the scriptures does it seem to represent the second coming of Christ, but it's also important in terms of the pyramids. And I've talked about the number 27 before in the scriptures. Here's an example where it talks about the coming of Christ, coming in all his glory. It seems to always come up in verse 27 in all of the Gospels. And in the book of John, it comes up where John the Baptist is talking about the coming of the Messiah, which happened in 27 AD. But in the other Gospels, it's mentioned in verse 27 in terms of the second coming, where it describes Jesus coming in all his glory. It's always in verse 27, where it says, "For as lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be." But what I want to show you in this video is why it's important in terms of the pyramids as well, because that's something I haven't gone over. I've gone over the number 27 and why it's important in the scriptures, and I may go over that a little more later, but I want you to see why it's important apparently in terms of the pyramid as well. And so I'm going to play a little bit of this video that I came across some time ago, and of course this was talking about the year 5776, because the height of the pyramid is 5776, but that was the year that this particular sign took place in 2016, where this conjunction right below the capstone, right by Virgo's head, and it was right by the star Xavi Java, and I'll try to show you that star. I believe it's this one over here. Okay, it was actually this one right here, so it was actually exactly right by that star. It was almost a conjunction with the star, Xavi Java. So they were all in conjunction together, and it's interesting that you have the year 5777 again over here in Virgo's head, so that's another sign. And this word means beautiful Lord. On the other side of Virgo's head, you have another star that's 57779, which means judgment. So on either side of Virgo's head, you have the Hebrew year 5777. And it's in Isaiah 7:14 where it says, "Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." So again, you have 3 sevens over here. 7 and 14 is 7 plus 7. So you have 777 again over here, where God is telling us that he's going to give a sign. Okay, so now I'm going to play part of this video because I want you to see all the 27s that come up in this video.
And so in Isaiah 19, verses 19 to 20, it says, "In that day there will be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar to the Lord at its border. It will be a sign and a witness to the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt." Right, so here you go. I've taken the liberty to draw these dimensions side by side. So there you have your 5040 from there to the apex of the pyramid. You have your radius of the Earth there, your radius of the Earth there, the diameter of the Earth there, and you have your angle 51.84277 degrees. And here you have the Pyramid of Giza, 440 cubits per side, 280 cubits high, or 481.1 feet high, or 756 feet one side. And here's the calculations. If you calculate the height by half the base, you get this number 1.27 infinitely. And likewise here, if you take the height, 280 divided by half the base, 220, gives you 1.27 infinitely, which is exactly the same number. If you inverse tan this number, you get the angle of 51.84277 degrees, and exactly the same there. So we know that the Earth-Moon relationship of the Earth and the Moon together is directly related to the Great Pyramid of Giza. And if we go back and look at
Okay, so I hope you're able to hear that. I had it as loud as it could go, but I'll put the link in the description box. But what he was talking about in this video is how there's a direct relationship between the measurements of the Great Pyramid of Giza and the Moon and the Earth, the radius. When you combine the radius of the Moon with the radius of the Earth and you add them together, it's a direct relationship in terms of scale to the Great Pyramid. And so when you divide this triangle in half and you multiply the height with half the diameter, which would be the radius, you come up with this angle, and the number you get is 1.27 infinitely. And then it's the same thing with the pyramid. You get this angle over here when you divide the pyramid in half. And then when you invert tan this figure over here, you get this angle, which again ends with 277. So you have this number 27 infinitely, which is the angle of the pyramid. Okay, now when you look at the measurements of the Great Pyramid in Giza, you can verify the measurements in cubits that he was using in his diagram. But another thing that I noticed is, again, you have the numbers 22777, 8 cubic feet. You have 91 in front of that. But again, you see the number 27 amplified, just like in the prophecy in the book of Daniel. And I'll just show you that again real quick. I had done this timeline some time ago, and this actually slowly came together. First I realized that the Jubilee years on the Hebrew calendar alternated between the numbers 77 and 27. And then I realized that the Exodus occurred in the year 2277, which is like the number 27 amplified. Of course, it was in Daniel 9:27, where it talks about confirming the covenant, and it was in the year 27 AD when Jesus came to confirm the covenant as the Messiah. And then the last piece of this timeline that I discovered was after watching Sandy Armstrong's videos about the 6,000 years. And when I tried to verify the date of creation that Sandy Armstrong had talked about, which was the year, I'm trying to find where I put the year. Okay, I didn't have it on that timeline, but it was a Hebrew year 3983 on our calendar. And when I tried to verify that year, that it was the year of creation, I came up with these other websites and articles where others have also calculated that year. But when I pulled this one up, it actually converted it to what would be the Hebrew year based on the current Hebrew calendar. So based on the current Hebrew calendar, the year on our calendar, which is 3983, would have been the year negative 222. Okay, so the beginning of creation was year negative 222, and what could be the last year before the Lord's return would be 5777. So you see how there's a pattern here, initially between the numbers 27 and 77, and then this one for creation, which is a little different because the Hebrew calendar doesn't go back that far. And so God designed it so that it comes out to the number 222, and then the final number is 777. So that's like the number 27 amplified. So you have the number 27 amplified throughout the Bible and throughout Daniel's prophecy. Okay, so I fast forwarded back to this year, 2017, and so this year we have what to me appears to be the Revelation 12 sign, because with this sign you have Virgo actually illuminated by the sun, which is Jesus, and by Leo, which is Jesus. So she's illuminated to where you can actually see her, and you can still see all the stars, and you can see the stars that make up her crown, which would be the constellations that actually refer to a crown. And when you add all of these up together, you come up with 12 stars. Okay, so this is a sign on 9/11. On 9/11, you see the sun is located right in the center of the pyramid, right in the center of the capstone. And like I said in my last video, this is all a battle over the temple, and Satan is trying to build his kingdom to where the Antichrist is a capstone, and God is building his temple, and Jesus is the capstone. And so you see the sun on 9/11 will be right between Virgo and Leo. And incidentally, I just noticed, because I still had the star highlighted, the star with the Hebrew year 5777 is right in the middle of this configuration as well, which seems to form a triangle or a pyramid. Okay, I have a lot more that I want to talk about, and also want to go over these tables that I've done that seem to confirm this sign as well, but I'm running out of time, so I'll have to continue with more in the next video. Thank you.